Hey guys, it's Aislinn, and in today's video, we are dyeing Abby's hair pink. We're going to do a darker pink down here, and then on her ends, it's going to be more of like a bubblegum pink. We just recently bleached her 5 months of regrowth. If you have not seen that video, I will leave a link to it right up there for you guys. You can go watch that. For today's color, we are going to be using Arctic Fox. If you guys did not know, I recently just got a coupon code with them. I am so excited. I feel like it's about freaking time. So my coupon code is Aislinn10 and you get 10% off your purchase. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. As long as you order on Arctic Fox's website, you will get 10% off your purchase. I will leave their website and my coupon code in the description down below in case you are interested in picking up any Arctic Fox shades. For her regrowth area, we are going to be using mostly virgin pink, and then I'm going to be diluting it a tiny bit with Frose, which is their new color they just launched. And then on her ends, we're going to be using mostly Frose with a tiny bit of virgin pink in there. Here is what the root color looks like. It's just much more vibrant. Here is what her end color looks like, more of a bubble gum. I'll show you them side by side so you can see the difference. Root color, end color. So this is going to be a mix of a voiceover as well as some music during this time lapse. I'm just going to explain some tips and how I'm applying this color. So obviously I'm starting off by applying the darker pink to her root area, and I'm making sure to drag the darker color down far enough to cover that band that we had from previous color. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to check out my previous video where we bleached all of her regrowth. We had some old color on there, and when we bleached it, she had a little bit of a band. So I'm just making sure to cover that more brassy band with the darker pink. If I tried going over that brassy band with the lighter pink color, it wouldn't cover it and you would be able to see through it and see that orange tone. So I just have to be very careful and make sure I'm dragging this pink far enough down to cover that area that had the band. I feel like in this clip you can definitely see that yellow band a little bit better. It was a lot darker underneath of her hair because she's naturally darker there, and also when you're in the shower, people tend to shampoo their crown more often, and that's where the hot water's hitting, so color is going to fade quicker in your crown and on the top of your head. A lot of people don't focus on shampooing underneath the nape of their neck area, so color sticks around a lot longer down there. Here's another shot. You can see that yellow band and how far I'm having to drag down the darker pink in order to make sure that is covered. As I start applying the lighter pink color to her ends, you can see that I am making sure everything is saturated. I'm using my other hand to kind of separate the hair and make sure I'm not seeing any blonde pieces poking through. When you're using a conditioning based dye like Arctic Fox and it's a pastel shade, you have to make sure you're using enough product and you're thoroughly saturating the hair. If you miss any pieces, you're gonna be able to notice. So make sure you're going through the hair really well, separating it, looking for those blonde pieces, and if you see any, pick up more dye and resaturate. Throughout this process, you see me separating the hair over and over again, grabbing more of that light pink and resaturating areas that I think need more product. So just keep that in mind if you're using a pastel shade and it's a conditioning based dye. One other thing I want to mention is as I am going through section by section and applying the lighter pink, I pick up some of that darker pink and I resaturate the root area and make sure that there's a nice blend between the darker pink and lighter pink. And I'm making sure again that that band is completely covered. That's why I'm going back in with a dark pink and resaturating some areas. If I see that band peeking through a little bit, I'll just grab the darker pink one more time and go over that band to make sure it's not going to show through when we're done. You can really see I am working the dye into the hair to the point where it's getting frothy. That's what you want to see. You want to make sure you're working that dye in to where it starts to get that like white frothy coating. Then you know the dye is really soaking in the hair and you're saturating everything really well. One more thing I want to mention, and then I'll let you enjoy the satisfying time lapse, is make sure you mix enough color when you start, especially when you're custom mixing colors and you're using two different shades. It's very difficult to have to remix halfway through and try and get the exact color that you started with. So always making sure you have enough dye when you start, so that way you don't have to stop and try and color match and remix in between. So I got everything applied. It looked a little patchy. Fingers crossed. It looks so cute right now. I saturated the crap out of it. If you couldn't tell, her hair is like soaked in dye. So I'm hoping everything absorbs really well and it turns out amazing. But Arctic Fox is conditioning based. So when you're using a pastel shade that's conditioning based, you have to make sure to saturate really, really well. And I'm not used to working with pastels. Normally I work with like super neon colors. So we're gonna let this sit for 45 minutes to an hour, rinse it in cold water, and then we will be back tomorrow to show you guys the finished product. Okay guys, we are back. It is the next day and this is how her hair turned out. As you guys know, we used two different formulas, a darker one on the root and a lighter one on the end. And when I was applying the lighter one, it looked very, very pastel, like it was not going to take or it was going to be patchy. But as you can see, it took and everything was fine. And you can't even really tell that it's two different colors. Like the root area does not really look that much different than the ends. I feel like maybe once you start shampooing it, you'll be able to see the difference a little bit more because the one we used at the root was a lot darker. She has washed her hair one time since filming this and her ends did lighten up and now they're more of like a cotton candy pink and you can tell the difference between the root and end color. But overall, it turned out really well. It covered that like little band that was all over. I was worried it wasn't gonna cover that, but it did, and it looks really good, and this pink color is gorgeous. That is all for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my Instagram. The link to that is in the description down below. I post way more of my everyday life on there. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love you guys so much, and until next time, guys, stay weird. Bye.
Ivy.